I want to talk to you tonight about the spirit of rejection. And I'm sure that there are many of us here that have dealt with the spirit of rejection. I'm going to read from John chapter 4, verse number 7 through verse number 11. Hey, Katina, John chapter 4, verse number 7 through verses number 11. When a Samaritan woman came to draw water, Jesus said to her, "Will you give me drink?" His disciples had gone into the town to buy food. And the Samaritan woman said to him, "You are a Jew, and I am a Samaritan woman. How can you ask me for drink?" For Jews do not associate with Samaritans at all. Jesus answered her, "If you knew the gift of God and who it is that asked you for drink, you would have asked him, and he would have given you living water." "Sir," the woman replied and said to him, "You have nothing to draw with, and the well is deep. Where can I find this living water? Are you greater than our father Jacob, who gave us this well and drank from it himself, as did also his sons and his livestock?" I want to ask you a question tonight. Have you ever had this moment where you planned to give someone something, or you were intended to love someone, or intended to be a particular way to someone, or a situation where you were intending on being nice to someone, you were intending on understanding them, or coming in with an open heart, and for some reason or another, they just took the whole conversation or interaction in a direction that you were not planning to go in? Like where you called someone with peaceful intentions, but they just got real rowdy, and before you knew it, you found yourself going down a lane in the conversation that you weren't necessarily prepared for. Have you ever been on a job before, and it seems as though they never really saw your best potential? Or I've had people in my life at certain points and certain times where, after hearing something about them or after witnessing a specific event that I saw them and how they responded or how they reacted, it was difficult for me to give them a reset, right? Like if I saw someone treat someone else bad, I kind of associated that to be how they were. And it made it a little difficult for me to give them a reset. Imagine how much more difficult it would be for us to give ourselves a reset, especially when the view that we have of ourselves has become ultimately the belief we have of ourselves. When the view of ourselves or the view of our lives or the view of what we experience has become the belief of what we experience, it becomes difficult to give ourselves a reset, just like it is difficult at times to give other people resets. This particular woman, she had layers of rejection that was upon her life. And so she viewed herself through a very negative lens. And it revealed itself in all of her actions going forward. And these were layers that were not just laid on her by herself, but these layers ran deep. These layers went all the way back to the history of Samaritans and Jews, where there was a distance between them, and that layered down on top of her parents and on top of her grandparents and on top of her great-grandparents, and that history began to follow her into her present moment. That's how the spirit of rejection works. It doesn't just attack you, but it attacks everything connected to you. It attacks previous years prior to you ever showing up on the scene. And then it comes into your life. Rejection played such a vital part of her insecurity that it caused her to make many mistakes. But this rejection didn't just come from the Samaritans, but it also came from the 5 different husbands that she had had. This rejection also came from the fact that she was finding herself doing things outside of the norm for that time, which was going to the well in the middle of the day as opposed to the evening, trying to avoid coming in contact with people. She was doing things outside of the norm, therefore messing up the layer or the traditional way that the household duties were done. Rejection basically had an effect on every aspect of her life, and not just her life, but her family's life around her. All because of how she chose to believe and what she chose to believe about herself. When she came to this moment with Jesus, there was a great opportunity before her. A great opportunity that she could indeed have the change that was necessary to change everything in her life. But even in this moment, she looked at Jesus as she looked at herself. We look at people, places, and things as we look at ourselves. Many times when I see someone that often mistreats other people, it's because they have something going on in their heart. A lot of times when I see people that are often offended by what other people do, chances are it's because they are offensive themselves, because there's something that's going on in their heart. My friends, I want to share with you that rejection has layers to it, and it impacts everything that happens in our life if we're not careful. The Bible says, out of the belly shall flow the issues of our heart. This woman, out of her own actions, she began to be rejected. But Jesus comes to her and says, if you knew, if you could see, you would see that I'm bringing and I've come to give you rivers of living water. I've come to give you something that will wash away the root of your rejection issues. If you could see me for who I truly was. But she was missing the opportunity because she saw her opportunity through the eyes of her pain and her shame. My friends, I want to tell you today that God has great options and great opportunities and great doors for you. But what you must learn to do is overcome and address and deal with the root of your rejection. For many of you, it's going to go back to you dealing with where did the rejection start? And plucking that up by the root so that you can see yourself for truly who God has created you to be in this earth. So that you will maximize every opportunity as opposed to sabotaging every moment that God has laid before you. My friends, I just want to share with you today a very quick word. That you have sabotaged things in your life. You have not given yourself the proper reset. You have not given yourself the proper ability to see yourself for the true loving character that you are and the true individual that God has called you to be in this earth, because you have always seen your eyes through the circumstances and situations of what has happened to you. But today, I've come to share with you that God has brought you a reset. That the smear campaign is over. That how you self-sabotage your own options, your own open doors, your own future, your own destiny, because you just can't see yourself there. God is saying to you today that he brings to you a well of living water that is opening up, that if you literally allow him into your heart and to remove those things, then you'll see yourself for clearly who you are. Maybe every relationship that you've had up to this point, you have blamed it on them, and there's a possibility that a lot of it could have been you. That you maybe chose the wrong people because you didn't see yourself as valuable, as deserving any better. That maybe you keep stepping into the same type of toxic situations over and over again because God is trying to show you that there's something inside of you that needs to be healed, that needs to be fixed, that something inside of you does not believe that you deserve better. And so you choose and you allow yourself to walk into situations with people with all of these red flags, and you avoid them and ignore them because you have rejection issues. That somewhere your mother didn't receive you the way that she should. Maybe she didn't touch your emotions the way that she should. Maybe you were more focused on her than you were on yourself, and so you felt rejected. Maybe it was your father that walked out of your life, or someone that abused you, and it left a gaping hole in your heart. And even though you said that you have forgiven for that, that gaping hole has caused a spirit of rejection to hover in your life because you keep telling yourself, maybe I wasn't good enough to be loved. Maybe I wasn't good enough for you to stay. Maybe I wasn't good enough for you to pay attention to. Maybe I wasn't good enough for you to give your attention and time to. And so you've mimicked that spirit of rejection in other areas of your life. But the Father brings you to the well today. The Father brings you to a place today that you can address all of those issues, and you can literally be before Him completely unashamed and say, God, this hurt me. It hurt me where I was dropped. It hurt me where I was pushed aside. It hurt me where I did not get the attention that I knew that I deserved, where I watched other brothers and sisters get attention that I didn't get, or where my husband did not give me attention, or where my wife did not give me attention. It hurt me where my job didn't recognize the value that I had. It hurt me where my friends did not celebrate me, but I saw them celebrating other people. God, that hurt me. Where my other family members were treated differently. God, that hurt me. But I choose to be healed and to not live in that space any longer. My friends, I'm not sure and I don't know where your layers of rejection have come from. I've dealt with some my own self, where I've had to tell myself I deserve better. And I didn't believe it as soon as I said it. And my actions did not line up with me believing that I deserve better. But it wasn't until I began to rebuke the very spirit of rejection off of my life that I rebuked and pulled it up by the root of my life. And I let the enemy know that the lifelong diabolical attack of rejection would no longer have access to my life, but I was denying it access, and I was going to be and have everything that God said I should have, because I am a child of God, a child of the Most High, that I am walking in purpose and in destiny, and that I am a good person, a loving person that is well deserving of every gift that God wants to give me. And so today for you, I tear down the very place where rejection has risen up in your life. I don't know where the root came from. And maybe it's been passed down in your family. Maybe your mother did to you what her mother did to her. Maybe your father did to you what their father did to them. Maybe your boss did to you what their boss did to them. I don't know where the root of the rejection is. But what I can say to you today is that even as I'm speaking, that root is being destroyed. It's being torn up in your life because it's being exposed. In order to pull any root up, you must expose it where it is in order to evenly pull it up. And so today we pull up the root of the spirit of rejection, that you may face and deal with the place that it hurts. And maybe you're the first one in your family that will get free. Well, guess what? You will get free and you'll be able to free everybody else. Rejection is not going to come up without a fight. You must be willing to fight in your mind. You must be willing to fight in your heart, to constantly tell yourself, I deserve better than this. No, it's not putting yourself on a pedestal. No, it's not being prideful and thinking more highly of yourself than you should think. But you deserve better than what you have had. God is bringing things full circle in your life. Will you stop choosing the same type of partners in life? You'll stop choosing the same types of scenarios in jobs. Remember I said this. She saw Jesus as she saw herself. We see people in situations as mirrors. She did not see that Jesus saw anything better in her because she did not see anything better in herself. So she asked him, how can you talk to me? I am a Samaritan, you are a Jew. She saw no better in herself. She thought that he was looking at her the way that she looked at her. So many situations in your life have mirrored what you believe about yourself. Your relationships have mirrored what you believe about yourself. How people treat you is related to what you believe about yourself. if everybody's treating you bad, and you always have problems with how everybody is treating you, I'm going to tell you the problem is not everybody. They're mirroring. Let me give you an analogy. Have you ever got a new car before? And once you got that new car, you started driving around and all of a sudden you started paying attention to everybody else, all of the other cars that were just like yours. Prior to you getting that new car, you probably didn't see a lot of them. But the moment you set your attention on them, that's what you begin to see. We see what is in our heart. People mirror us. We pay attention to what mirrors us. And it begins to trigger us. No more moments in your life being destroyed because rejection has led your actions. Rejection no longer has a steering wheel, but your divine destiny and purpose and everything that God has for you to have, it has access fully to your life and to your future. And you will be and do all that you were supposed to do. You're going to start to see people through different eyes and situations through different eyes. You're not going to have to fight people the way that you've been fighting them anymore, the way that you've been rebuking them and laying them out and posting subliminally about them. The reason why you do that is because you see yourself through negative lenses. You see your past through negative lenses. And so you're focusing on and mirroring everything that you see. Change your heart. I don't fault you because I was there myself. And we don't always understand what we're acting out of. And so this can be a difficult message to hear, especially for someone that's not willing to change because you still want to blame it on everyone else, as opposed to understanding my spirit of rejection has taken root in my life and it's taken over. Today we tear that root up and we destroy it at the root. The spirit of rejection, even as I'm talking to you, it now must loose itself from your life so that you can see yourself clearly, that you can stop sabotaging sick of situations and stop sabotaging relationships. Stop pushing people off and not welcoming people in because you're afraid of rejection or because you see yourself through negative eyes and you think that everybody's going to hurt you or everybody's going to walk out on you or everybody's going to do something harmful to you. So that you can love without fear. So that you can serve without fear. So that you can work without fear. Change your perspective of you, and it will change your view of everything in your life. I hope this message blessed you, and I hope that it reached you. Hope that it speaks to you right where you are. And I pray that you'll make the change that is necessary. Maybe you need prayer. And if that is you that needs prayer tonight, please do me a favor and just simply say, I need prayer. And a member of our prayer team will reach out to you. Maybe you want to sow into this message because it indeed blessed your heart. Right after this message, there will be a post. This will come up. And if you come back and look at this post, then you will see the directions for how you can sow into this word if it bless you. And if the spirit of rejection has started to leave you, if it resonated with you, and if you know that this was you, I dare you to sow. If you know that this message, it destroyed that spirit of rejection that has hovered your life, then I invite you to sow. God bless you today. Have a wonderful Tuesday. And I love you with all of my heart. Have a good one.